Okay, so next part we discussed up to RAM, but this is ROM. ROM is little bigger. Okay, read-only memory. ROM is read-only memory. What is read-only memory? So it is a simple chip. When ROM chip is designed, they put a program inside. When chip is designed, inside the built-in program is there. As per their requirement, they will put a program. But not everyone requires same program, right? So what they done? So this ROM chip they build as a empty chip, and if the client means the person who required ROM chip, so they can take a empty ROM chip, they can program it, but only once. Once it is a program, then you cannot able to remove it. That is called a ROM chip, programmable read-only memories, and then we can erase it. So that's a kind of another version is released. That is, you can program it and you can erase it, but you cannot able to put it another program inside. So next level is EPROM chips are came. This EPROM chips, we can put a program inside, we can erase the program, and we can reprogramming it also possible with the EPROM chip, but limited number of times also only. Okay, limited number of times only. EPROM chips are rewritable. So that's why on your motherboard you may locate this RAM, but you cannot see ROM kind of stuff. Of course, your ROM chip is nothing but your BIOS chip only. Basic, basic input output system. Okay, your RAM chip is nothing but your BIOS chip, basic input output system. Why it is a what is okay? So what is this BIOS chip? The BIOS chip help you to boot your system. Okay, so BIOS chip when you start your PC, when you start your PC, the PC components will be recognized like your CPU, your RAM, your hard disk, your CD-ROM will be recognized by your BIOS chip only. It helps to load and locate operating system. It helps your operating system to know about your hardware devices also, hardware components also. Okay. This BIOS chip is manufactured by different organizations and different BIOS chips are there. AMIBIOS, Advert BIOS, Phonics BIOS, different type of manufacturers are there. So that is how BIOS chip is look like. This one. What is this firmware? Yes, BIOS is a the program we call it as a program called a firmware or a firmware. Okay, so what it will do when you power on your system. So this firmware will tell you how to start your PC. That is meaning is you are booting up your PC is decided or told by your firmware only. Okay, and there is a few more terminologies are there that is also we'll see like a post power on self test. When you start your PC, system test itself, the major basic components are there or not. Like a post, at a post, what happened when you power on your system, power supply go to all the devices in the machine. Power supply went to all the devices. Okay, so obviously every device is active and it is like a kind of attendance. So I'm available. They'll share the details with your BIOS. Now the system knows, yeah, these devices are there. The two primary devices like CPU, RAM, hard disk, on motherboard components are available or not. Okay, that is a post. If post is successful, then remaining boot process is there. But I will tell boot processing separately. But simply to understand BIOS, basic input output system, which helps to start your PC, boot up your PC, which recognize hardware devices when you start your PC. That time it will recognize your hardware devices, help locate and load operating systems. Okay. So there is a UEFI. What is this UEFI? Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, which is a new version of BIOS. So in olden days we use a BIOS. Now we are using BIOS plus UEFI. Maybe in future only we have a UEFI, so BIOS can be gone. This is a small steps, basic steps in a boot processing, but I will tell boot processing later. Guys, this is the BIOS. It's a basic hardware first system point. Okay, so start one is a BIOS. First system, when you power on the system, operating system, don't load directly. First, this BIOS chip load firmware, and then remaining executions will be gone. Okay. This BIOS chipset having some information. See, when you start your PC, BIOS chipset recognize your CPU. Can you see here? It is a BIOS setting menu. It is. So this is a CPU i7-4500U, 1.8 gigahertz CPU, 4 MB cache memory. It's a fixed hard disk, 1 terabyte of hard disk, and there is a CD-ROM, and this is a total memory is 8 GB. It is 1600 megahertz, means it is a DDR3 model. Okay, so your BIOS knows what are your hardware components are inserted, about your hard disk, about your CD-ROM, about your RAM, and about your processor also it will know. In BIOS also it runs date and time. System date and time runs in your BIOS chip only. And in BIOS settings, there is a lot of hardware features we can enable or disable, or we can change certain features in this hardware point of uh, hardware settings. Okay. So this is virtualization technology. Just when we start, you say no virtualization technology. So in my CPU, you can see virtualization is enabled. If it is showing disabled, you have to go to BIOS settings, then search where is this virtualization technology. It's in disabled, so change it to enable. Okay, these are the BIOS settings, some part. This is a boot menu. So when you start your PC, okay, I said no, it helps you to boot your operating system. Load and locate operating system. So how it is load and locate operating or locate and load operating system? Okay, based on the boot priority. This is the boot priority, example boot priority. We can change the boot priority also. So what it will do? First of all, it check is operating system in CD-ROM or not. Is the operating system in remote devices there are like that. First, it will check in CD-ROM voice is there or not. Voice is there, then it will load a voice from CD-ROM directly. If it is not there, then it will check a removable device, means like a pen drive. Is a pen drive contain operating system? Then load it. Okay. Next one is hard drive, means hard disk. So your CD-ROM don't have operating system, your pen drive don't have operating system. It sits in a hard disk. Based on this priority, guys. If I change the priority, for example, my first priority is hard disk. So when I start my PC, it will check OS is there in the hard disk. If it is there, it will load. If it is not there, it will go to the second one. Like that it will go. Okay. It is a boot menu, boot priority. So based on the priority, system will try to locate operating system from top to bottom. Okay. So these are the certain settings in your, okay. We can enable, disable, or we can change certain features, okay, in the BIOS settings in a hardware level. Of course, your BIOS also having a password. This is a setting. Someone we can able to change your settings, right? In your college, maybe some people will experience it. So there is a front panel or back panel, USB ports are disabled. Okay, so how it is we can disable? Of course, through a BIOS also possible. Okay, so someone you done a settings in your system, BIOS system. If anyone want to change these settings as per their requirement, so we have to protect it. So we can protect with the password. So we can set user password, supervisor password. If you enter a supervisor password, and then you can able to change settings. If you know user password only, if you enter user password, you can able to see settings. You cannot change it. Okay, these are the password securities. Okay, guys, this is not an operating system password, it is a BIOS password. And when you are talking about BIOS, there is a CMOS battery. This is a battery which is made with a lithium component. Okay, it is CMOS battery or BIOS battery. We can call it as a CMOS battery or BIOS battery. Originally, it is a lithium battery. It's a 3 volts lithium battery. It is. Okay. So generally we will get confused with the CMOS battery means the battery is made up of CMOS technology. Now guys, CMOS is a chip manufacturing technology. Simple to tell. Okay, without any details. Simple to tell. CMOS is a chip manufacturing technology. Like your BIOS. Sound white with it. Okay. CMOS is a chip manufacturing technology. Next, your processor, your ROM chip, all are manufactured with the CMOS technology only. Okay. Next, why we need this battery? Which is just 3 volts battery only. Your BIOS chip contains certain information like a date and time, BIOS passwords, and the configuration or settings you have done. Those are temporary data only. So when you shut down your computer, when you turn off your computer, the date and time, the password settings will be gone from your PC. How to keep this data for a longer time? So we use a battery. Okay, so we use a battery. This battery give power supply to your CMOS chip. Means your BIOS chip will get a power supply from this 3 volts battery. Okay, so 3 volts enough for your BIOS chip, and also it will work for more than 2 to 3 years, 4 years, sometimes more than 5 years also it will support. Okay, so BIOS battery or a CMOS battery, it is a 3 volts lithium battery, give power supply to your BIOS chip. So it is continuously giving a power supply. So your BIOS chip keep this data like this. Your data time will run continuously. Your BIOS passwords will be safe, and your settings will be like that only. If in case, if in case, if anyone, if in case, if you remove this battery or battery power is down, what happen? Power supply not go to your CMOS chip, means your BIOS chip. Okay, the data. Hello. Yeah, tell me. Okay, sorry. Okay, guys, see it is. You have a CMOS chipset. You have a CMOS chipset means your BIOS chip is there, and your battery is give continuous power supply to it. Okay, so lithium 3 volts battery. This is CMOS battery. This is CMOS chip. Continuous power supply is there means your date and time runs. Second one is your settings will be safe, so no, it won't be resetted. Okay, if in case you remove this battery, what will happen? Okay, if you remove this battery, no power supply to your CMOS chipset, date and time and your settings and the passwords will go back to the factory default. Factory default means when you purchase this motherboard, what are the settings by default it is there? The default settings will be loaded. What are the your changed settings that won't be there? Okay, so that's why you have to use this lithium battery. We are using this lithium battery. Next one, guys, I said BIOS passwords will be deleted if you remove this battery. Okay, somewhere I've written in this one or next one. I didn't know, remember somewhere here also. Okay, BIOS
Hello, sir.
password is different from BIOS
Hello.
password. Yeah, tell me.
BIOS, this CMOS battery is also present in our mobile devices.
In mobile,
In
so
mobile also there
I
is
don't have
CMOS.
an idea. In
Acha.
mobile, I don't have an idea. Laptop, certain laptops having battery. If you open, you may find it. If you see any old laptops, also we have a small battery separately. It is there.
Is this battery connected to our laptops, the battery?
Laptop battery is to power your laptop, but if you remove laptop battery, but settings not changing, right? Generally, so obviously there is a some BIOS chip is there. In mobile phone, there is a actually best example for this CMOS is to understand. Olden days we have a feature phones. Okay, feature phones, small mobile phones are there, right? So if you are using for some time or maybe after a few days, okay, when we want to insert a SIM or remove the SIM, we remove this backside battery. When we remove the battery and reinsert the battery after you remove the battery and reinsert the battery, and the entire settings means the recent call data like incoming, outgoing, visited calls data, and the settings. What are the settings we given to your mobile phone? Everything is reset back, including date and time also gone. Okay, that is a factory default. Maybe in that motherboard, it does not contain any protection purpose. Any CMOS battery is not there. Only power supply for only batteries there. Now we are using a smart mobile phones, but we cannot able to remove battery backside. But if you go little bit olden days, there is a battery connectivity is there. You can remove the battery. Old versions like 3 4 years back versions, we have a battery. If you remove the battery and reinsert the battery, settings won't be changed. Maybe there is a possibility they put a small a BIOS kind of means CMOS kind of some battery or clock kind of stuff. They may put it. Okay. Yeah. Last point, guys. Here, not last point. So BIOS passwords are different from your operating system passwords. If you remove this battery and reinsert the battery, BIOS passwords may gone, but original operating system password cannot be gone. So that is also some kind of myth it is. Okay. Some people think if you remove the battery out, then password is gone. Yes, password is gone. That is BIOS password, not a operating system password. This is one kind of BIOS error, guys. If you start your PC, it is showing CMOS checksum error, date and time not set kind of stuff. then press F1 to run setup kind of stuff. What is this? Your BIOS battery become weaker, or it is not connecting, or it is not at all working now. So what happened when you start your PC? That time the settings are not loading. It is become your operating system with different understanding, setting date and time. Your original PC with the date and time and the other settings are different. All the settings go to factory default. So what happened? It throws this kind of errors. So every time you start your computer, you are getting this one. Meaning is the battery is weak. Go and purchase a new battery and insert it. Better to go to computer shop or electronic shop. So then you will buy battery with 10 or 20 rupees. Don't go to bookshop. They'll ask 50 rupees. Okay. So you can just simply open and insert the battery. In any old computers, generally it shows this kind of issues. Okay, so what to do? Open the cabinet, remove the battery, reinsert new battery, and do all the settings. Okay, and start your computer. And when you start computer next time, you won't get this kind of error. If you are still getting the error, means that is CMOS problem, not your BIOS battery problem. Okay. How to go to BIOS settings? How to go to BIOS settings? So I showed different BIOS settings. I showed BIOS settings, and also I told what is CMOS. Okay, CMOS is a chip manufacturing technology. Okay, the battery is made up of lithium. Using CMOS technology, our BIOS chip is also manufactured. That's it is called as a CMOS battery. The voltage and current level is suitable for any CMOS chip. Okay, so I showed settings, but how to go to that settings? So either you just start your PC and press the BIOS key. There is a BIOS key. Press the BIOS key. It can be Dell F2, F10, F11, or F1, F11, F9, anything. Or sometimes if you are using a laptop, you have to press function key plus that your part. Okay, so compulsory check the combination key and do it. Okay, so what you can able to do it, you can set your date and time, you can set the password, you can enable disable certain features, example virtualization technology, you can change boot priority. So once you've done everything, then save and exit by pressing F10. Also you can check the system configuration about your CPU, RAM, or hard disk kind of information from BIOS. Okay, BIOS password is different from your operating system password here at everything. Okay, so how do you know what is your BIOS key? One way is when you start your PC, the any corner, maybe left side, right side, down, somewhere it will shows how to go to BIOS setting. Your BIOS keys appears there. If it is not appear or you miss what to do, search in Google. Okay, about your system manufacturer kind of stuff, your motherboard or a system manufacturer, find out what is your BIOS key, then try with that BIOS key to go to BIOS settings. Okay, generally it will show on your screen. So this is here about a BIOS. I didn't tell about a boot processing. I will tell boot processing after completion of hard disk basics. Okay. Guys, okay with the BIOS? At least 2-3 points.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next component is directly your motherboard, and one more is their SMPS. Both I will tell, just I need a 10 minutes, then we'll give you another 10 minutes break. Then we'll see hard disk. Okay. Tomorrow, once this basic hardware disk part completed, tomorrow I will explain this boot processing with the troubleshooting points. Okay. Next one is motherboard. Next one is motherboard. Okay, what is this motherboard? Okay, all devices including CPU, RAM, hard disk, graphic cards, everything we are connecting on motherboard. Okay, so that is why it is called as a motherboard. Different ports, different slots are there. See, this is the old style motherboard. The yellow one is your CPU socket. There is a blue bars, that is your RAM slots. If you see that white bars, like a five white bars are there, no, that is called a PCA slots. The the green one AGP slot means you can insert graphic card. There is a north bridge, south bridge because it's a old motherboard. If you take any new motherboard, you may not see in this north bridge, south bridge. Now both are become single bridge only. Okay, already explained. North bridge means it make a communication between, means the communication assists by this north bridge from your RAM to processor. South bridge is from RAM to other I/O devices. Power supply, the 20 pin ATX power supply, now it is 24 pin ATX power supply from SMPS connection. Okay, so yeah, CMOS battery, the somewhere CMOS back panel connections. See, these are the RAM slots, you can see. So you can insert a RAM directly like that. These are the back panel. So olden days we have all type of connection. Now it is little different. So this is a first two, that is a PS/2 mouse and keyboard connectors. Parallel port, the big one is parallel port, and VGA port to connect your monitor. COM port means serial port it is, and there is a Ethernet port and USB ports. And the last one is your audio. 3 points are there: one for mic, one for speaker, and another for a line in. Okay, these are the back panel connections. These are the connectors: PS/2, USB, VGA, serial port, LAN port. LAN port also called as RJ45 connector, right? Ethernet port. This is it's a new kind of motherboard. Okay, so this is the black one. There we got two or four RAM slots. This is two RAM slots only. We have. It is back panel. If you see, there is a VGA port, HDMI port, USB 3.0, 2.0, and LAN port is also there. Okay, so this is a different motherboards. How to know different type of motherboard? How to see different type of motherboard? Simply go to any e-commerce website like Amazon or Flipkart is better. Okay, so go to try to buy some motherboard. Means search for a motherboard. I'm trying to say. Just before only we morning processor I tried. I'll try motherboard. Different motherboards. So Zebronics H61 world style motherboard it is. So it is a processor. These are the RAM slots. This is ATX power supply. This is a SATA port, hard disk and a CD-RAM connectivity, VGA port, PCIe, PCIe, small one is PCIe. Okay, this is a north bridge come south bridge type. Okay, this is a power additional power supply to motherboard plus CPU type, CPU purpose. 12 volt supply is there, 4 pin connector is there. So back panel connectors. Each motherboard having their socket connectivity C1155. So then we have to check what is the suitable one. So you can see it is a third generation i5 processor. You want to build a computer with this configuration, motherboard, processor, and RAM, 5000 you are getting. Remaining is your SMPS, cabinet, hard disk. That's it. That's enough. You got a computer. So what we discussed: CPU, RAM, and ROM is on your motherboard only, and this is the motherboard. What is the next one? You need a power supply SMPS and need a cabinet. Okay, so purchase a cabinet with a lower price. You can purchase a cabinet with a lower prices for because of this is a old style. Okay, so by cabinet come SMPS is also you will get it by 1500,000 rupees, and hard disk is required. So you will get a ready with your computer. So if you want a latest style, then cost is there. Different motherboards. These are all see. This is AMD supported motherboard. This is motherboard for a AMD purpose. Okay. This is Intel motherboard. This is also AMD supported motherboards. This is again Intel supported motherboards. Depends upon motherboard, guys. The internal facilities also there. Yeah, that is enough. Want a closer look of recent motherboards. This is a processor slot, and this is a RAM slot. This corner one is this is your power supply, SMPS, graphic card, PCIe slots. Your BIOS chip. This is BIOS chip. This is a your BIOS battery. Another chipsets. This is 8 pin from SMPS to motherboard 8 pin 12 volts for your CPU purpose. Okay, so that's basic things. Anyway, SMPS came, so we'll go to the SMPS. You want to buy an SMPS and buy a SMPS. Okay. Okay, so different SMPS. If you see, it is a 400 watts SMPS, 450 watts SMPS, 600 watts SMPS, 500 watts SMPS. But whatever the SMPS it is, okay. So there is a connectors are there. So it is different type of connectors. So we will get a first one 24 pin connector, 20 plus 4, 24 pin connector goes to your motherboard. For a hard disk, SATA type of hard disk, this type of connector, this type of connector is there. This is for motherboard. 4 plus 4 means 8 pin connector is there, no? Just before I showed in the motherboard. If you have a SATA type of hard disk, then we need a Molex connector. Okay, this type of connector is 6 pin connector is also giving PCIe. 6 pin connector is also giving 8 pin and 6 pin. So depends upon your motherboard which one is better, you can use it. 6 plus 2 pin also giving. So that's why the more cost also there. Okay, so cooling, fan control. So here it is. We'll go SMPS in this location. This is 500. So this is main power supply. So director socket main power supply connect here, and we will get a outputs from these wires. Where is it is? Okay, each SMPS rated with a certain wattages. Why wattage? Inside your PC, there is a different power consumptions are there from CPU, RAM, hard disk, kind of stuff. So the total, how much the power consumption expectation, then you have to take little bit extra. So different colors in this SMPS wires are there. Each color represent something like voltages, like a 12 volts, minus 12 volts, 5 volts, 3.3 volts, ground, or it is power good signal or a power on signal. Okay, so we have a different configurations. Yeah, that's it. Up to now, can take a small break. Then we'll go to storage part. Okay, so we'll see storage part after small break.